Penguin Random House Audio presents The Puzzler, one man's quest to solve the most baffling puzzles ever, from crosswords to jigsaws to the meaning of life. This is the author, A.J. Jacobs. Note to listeners, this program includes a downloadable PDF that contains puzzles and images from the book. You can also access the PDF at thepuzzlerbook.com/audio. To my favorite co-solvers, Julie, Jasper, Zane, and Lucas. Hello, this is A.J. Jacobs, and welcome to the audio version of my book, The Puzzler. Thanks for listening. And I won't be offended if you listen on double speed. I do it all the time when I listen to audiobooks. My director might be offended, but I won't. In this book, you'll hear about my puzzling adventures around the world, the fascinating history of puzzles, the science of why we love puzzles, and how puzzles can make us better thinkers. But it's not just a book about puzzles. It's also a book of puzzles. Some of the puzzles in the print version are hard to reproduce in audio form because they're so visual, like the crossword puzzles or the optical illusions. But don't worry. First of all, those puzzles are available to you on a PDF that comes with the audiobook. The PDF can be accessed at thepuzzlerbook.com/audio. And the PDF includes dozens of historical puzzles, including the first crossword puzzle ever. But it also has a series of 20 original puzzles by famed puzzler Greg Pliska. And second, and just as exciting, I think, I've collected dozens of audio-friendly puzzles that are exclusive to the audio version. These are puzzles that you can solve in your head, no pencil and paper required. You can solve them while walking your dog or on your elliptical machine, and they will be sprinkled throughout the book at the end of each chapter. Okay, now on to The Puzzler. I hope you like it. Introduction. One winter morning several years ago, I got an email with some ridiculously exciting news. Or so I thought. The email was from a friend who informed me that the answer to one down in that day's New York Times crossword puzzle was me. The clue was A.J. Blank, author of The Know-It-All. My first reaction was, this is the greatest moment of my life. My marriage, the birth of my kids, yes, those were pretty good. But this, as a word nerd since childhood, this was the Holy Grail. And then, a couple of hours later, I got another email that changed everything. It came from my brother-in-law. He congratulated me, but he went out of his way to point out that my name was featured in the Saturday edition of the New York Times crossword puzzle. As crossword fans know, Saturday is the hardest puzzle of the week. Mondays is the easiest, with each day's grid getting more and more difficult until Saturday, when the puzzle reaches peak impenetrability. Saturday is the killer, the one with the most obscure clues, harder than Sunday. We're talking clues like Francisco Goya's ethnic heritage, Aragonese, or the voice of the car in the sitcom My Mother the Car, and Southern. Stuff no normal person knows. So, my brother-in-law's implication, or at least my interpretation, was that my Saturday appearance was the opposite of a compliment. Unlike a Monday or Tuesday mention, it's actually proof that I'm totally obscure, the very embodiment of irrelevance. Damn it, I could see his point. No doubt this wasn't the most charitable interpretation, and my rational side knew that I shouldn't let it tarnish my elation. But I couldn't help it. I'm a master of focusing on the negative once it's shown to me. It's like the arrow in the FedEx logo. I can't unsee it. My life's highlight now had a galling asterisk. Then, a couple of years later, my crossword adventure took another twist. I was on a podcast and I told the tale of my emotional roller coaster. Well, It turns out one of the people listening to the podcast was a New York Times crossword creator. God bless him, he decided to take pity on me and save me from my end-of-the-week shadows. He wrote a puzzle with me as the answer to one across and submitted it to run on a Tuesday. Legendary crossword editor Will Shortz led it through. And that became the true greatest moment of my life. I know full well I don't belong in a Tuesday puzzle. It's where the truly famous names like Biden and Gaga make their home. But I was thrilled to sneak in as an interloper. I mean, it's not Monday, but it's more than I could have hoped. I emailed the crossword creator, who has since become a friend, and thanked him. He said it was no problem, though he admitted that, to compensate, he had to make the corresponding down clues super easy, like TV Guide crossword puzzle easy. I'm okay with that. As I hinted, there's a reason my crossword cameos made me ecstatic beyond what is appropriate. Namely, I've been crazy for puzzles all my life. Partly, I inherited this passion from my family. When my dad was in the Army in Korea and my mom was stateside, they'd keep in touch by sending a puzzle back and forth, each filling out a clue or two per turn. Not the most efficient method, but certainly romantic. So I was introduced to crosswords early, but I wasn't monogamous when it came to puzzles. I embraced all kinds: mazes, secret codes, riddles, logic puzzles. As a kid who was not in danger of being recruited to varsity teams, nor burdened with a time-consuming dating schedule, I spent my spare time on puzzles. My bookshelf was filled with titles like Brain Busters or Brain Twisters or Brain Teasers, anything involving mental sadism. I programmed mazes on my school's Radio Shack computer. I did hundreds of mix and matches in Games magazine. Puzzles were my solace. My enthusiasm didn't wane as I grew older. Like my parents, I married a fellow puzzle lover. It's her job, in fact. My wife, Julie, works at a company that puts on scavenger hunts for corporations, as well as private events. Our weekends often involve escape rooms or games of mastermind with our 3 sons. For my birthday a couple of years ago, my son Zane created an elaborate mental obstacle course that included sudoku, Rubik's Cubes, and anagrams. It took me 2 weeks to crack, which did not impress him. I've even tried to recruit our dog Stella into the puzzle cult. I buy her these doggy puzzles where she has to flip open a latch to get her doggy treat. The manufacturer claims it will keep her canine brain stimulated, though I'm guessing Stella's brain is mostly thinking, "Next time, asshole, just give me a peanut butter and a spoon." After my appearance as One Down a few years back, I went from being an occasional crossword solver to a frequent one, perhaps unconsciously hoping I'd reappear. I did the Times crossword every day. At first, I only solved a smattering of words in the harder puzzles, but eventually, after years of practice, I could reliably finish Saturday's puzzles. My addiction became a problem. One day, I decided I wasn't getting enough accomplished in my life, and I should quit all puzzles. I figured it would free up several hours every week. Who knows what I could get done? Maybe I'd start a podcast or run a triathlon or build a barn. The experiment was a failure. After 2 months, I relapsed, and I relapsed hard. Puzzles once again began to mark the start and end of my day. Now, as soon as I wake up, I check my iPhone for the New York Times Spelling Bee, a find-a-word game that is both compelling and maddening. What? You're telling me auto-men isn't a word? Then what's the plural of auto-man? Before going to sleep, I do Wordle and the Times crossword puzzle. Since my relapse, I've come to 2 important realizations about puzzles. Number 1, I'm not a great puzzler. I mean, I'm okay. But as I started to meet real puzzlers, I got an insight into a whole other league. I realized I'm like the guy who plays decent intramural basketball, but is no match for the LeBron Jameses and Kevin Durants. Number 2.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?